My name is John Richard Stint. I'm a combat veteran of the Vietnam War. This is the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. It was dedicated in 1982 to honor more than 58,000 Americans that were killed in a foreign land. It's not your typical memorial. There's no structures reaching the sky, no oversized statues of brave heroes fending off an evil enemy. Instead, it's simply two black granite walls sunk into the ground. The walls taper from 8 inches at each end up to 10 feet tall, where the two walls meet at the apex. Engraved on the walls are the names of every American, man and woman, that was killed during the war. My story may be typical, then again, maybe not. I was born in a small town in Iowa in 1949. I graduated from high school in 1967, and after graduation, I wanted to marry my high school sweetheart, Jackie Collins. But in those days, every boy had the military draft hanging over his head. But the problem was they didn't draft you right out of high school. They would wait until you were 23, 24 years old, and then they would draft you. I figured by then, Jackie and I would have a baby or two, and I didn't want to have to leave them and go off into the Army. So Jackie and I talked it over and decided that I would enlist in the Army, and then when my military obligation was completed, we could get married. The Army sent me to Vietnam in 1969. I was assigned to Charlie Company of the 229th Assault Helicopter Battalion in Tay Ninh, South Vietnam. Tay Ninh is near the Cambodian border, and it was quite a hot spot in 1969. At first, I was assigned to work in the company office as a clerk. But after a few months, I got bored with that, so I requested a transfer to a flight platoon. My new flight platoon checked me out on an M60 machine gun, and I became an instant door gunner. My first combat mission was on the 15th of May, 1970. The Cambodian incursion had begun just a couple of days before that, and the Cambodian incursion, that was when the U.S. Army was chasing the Viet Cong and their North Vietnamese Army allies out of South Vietnam and back into their former sanctuaries inside Cambodia. So on this mission, we were to fly into Cambodia to check out areas for possible advanced fire bases for our army. So when we were coming in for a landing to check out the first area, we were at a hover about 3 feet off of the ground, and I saw a goop step out from behind a tree with an RPG on his shoulder. An RPG is a rocket-propelled grenade. Well, I swung my M60 around and fired, but he had already fired that RPG, and it hit just to my right in the fuel tank, and the Huey burst into flames, and it shook and shuddered and fell to the ground. I was engulfed in flames. The pain was intense, and I just prayed for it to end, and it did. A few seconds later, when I died. Well, this is how I would have looked if I had lived. That is how I did look just before I died. I was only 20 years old. "12 years later, they inscribed John R. Stint on this wall. Mom and Dad came to visit the wall in 1985. And I saw Mom place a letter for me at the base of the wall, just below my name. Jackie and her husband came a couple of years later. I was glad to see that she got married. I really was. And they had a small boy with them, and I heard Jackie call him John. Jackie placed a letter for me at the base of the wall. It was sealed, but I knew what it said. She still loves me. Our names are written on this wall. And they say that we live forever young in the reflective black granite walls. But we aren't the only casualties, Gene. Our moms and dads, brothers and sisters, sweethearts, lovers, our wives, sons and daughters, and our buddies that did come home, they are the walking wounded. Wounded? Wounded by shrapnel in the heart.
I am the one who rocked him as a baby. I'm the one who kissed away the hurts. I'm the one who taught him right from wrong. I'm the one who held him for the last time and watched him fly away to war. I'm the one who prayed each night, dear God, keep him safe. I'm the goofy mom who sent him a Christmas tree in Vietnam. I'm the one whose heart broke when told my Billy had died in a helicopter crash. And now, I'm the one who still cries every night because of all the memories I have that will never die. Oh yes, Billy, this mother of yours remembers. I remember the good times and the bad times. But you were so full of life and kept me busy the 21 years I had you. And now thank God for letting me be your mom and leaving me so many more good memories and bad ones. I love you, Billy, and I miss you so. Even though I never really knew you, you still meant the world to me. Thank you, Daddy, for giving me 3 years of your life. Remembering you through photos, I can only say, I love you, Daddy. Happy Father's Day. Possibly died with you. Love, your son Joe.
Last American girls I'd see for 17 months. When I got off the plane, first thing I felt was the heat. I could smell the shit burning. Coming into Vietnam, you knew it was not, even though you've never seen it before. From the plane, you could see the smoke coming out of the mountains.
When you came back, they wouldn't even let me touch you, darling. didn't think that was fair. You're my son, and I will never forgive them. People say time heals the heart, but that's not so. That's not so, because whatever you do, you always wish she was by your side. Whatever you do, there's always an empty spot. How, my son, do I say goodbye?
God, I loved this life of a soldier. From 1943 to 46, I was commander of the 290th Combat Battalion. We fought the Germans in the Vosges Mountains. But my war was different from our sons. In my war, people didn't hide behind like those who fled to Canada. They wanted to participate. They knew what the cause was, and there was a strong desire to achieve something. In Vietnam, the military were completely dominated by the politicians, and it's a far bigger task than they had ever thought. And then the military were in a hopeless position. The people like Westmoreland were very competent, but they never had a chance to exercise their own strategies.
Our son died in Vietnam. It was a useless war. My dearest Ben, I miss you and think of you so much. Every day in my prayers, I ask God and thank God and Jesus for caring for you, and I hope that will continue. I'm bringing Teddy Bear and you a picture of your loved race car. I know they can't stay long here, but they're yours, and I want you to have them. In time, I hope we can all be together. Love you, my dear Ben. Mom.
Love, give pup.
Oh, I remember. The first time you placed your arms around me, enveloping me security unknown until that first day.
I remember the little things that made the mundane marvelous.
Oh, I remember the smell of your aftershave.
I remember the texture of your hand in mine. And how the very sight of you brightened my day beyond belief.
Oh, I remember the twinkle of your jade green eyes.
The touch of your hand on my neck. And the cascading sensations caused by your kiss.
Oh, I remember all those memories and moments of happiness.
Those days of you and me.
Those days.
So many yesteryears ago. I remember. For you have entrenched your memory in my soul forever. And I shall always remember it.
Away across the sea lies the man I love, He was fighting for our country when God called him from above. We were living for our love, never knowing that the day when he was called to fight, that it would end. It would end this way. When the telegram came, my heart sank with fear. And when I read it over, my eyes filled with tears. My darling now is sleeping when God watches from above, and I sit alone weeping at the loss of the one I love. Dearest Chuck, this is the first time since I'm writing you since April 1970, but I know you wouldn't think it's silly. I've written a lot of poems from heartache of being without you. I wish you weren't shipped on that every flight. We would have been married. I think not seeing you after would make it hard for me to believe. I looked in the face of every young man. I looked for you. I dreamt about having a baby. I even went to the cemetery once in California where they buried you. I hope you saw me. I still have the ring you gave me. And all the poems and pictures. I have a special friend now who understands all of this. He listens to the stories of how we met and all the crazy things we did. He knows. He knows how much I love you. How much I still love you. Chuck, this is the only thing that did not die or end. God be with you. I will always dream of you.
Well, that time of the year has rolled around, and the class of 65 is celebrating its 20th year reunion. Cheers. Cheers to old Orchard Park High School. Don't think that we will not remember you. We talked about you in 1975, and nothing can make your loss less of a tragedy. Doug, they moved your house off the boulevard and onto the new street. Your death was especially difficult since you were so adamant about disliking guns. And Billy, I'm sorry we cannot live our fantasy of running into each other with batches of children at a supermarket. And Doug, I still talk a lot. I still do. I had to come here today. I live in Los Angeles now. And I don't think so I could have gone to the reunion before first coming here. I guess 2 lovers and so many friends gone, I could not handle it. And I pretty much screwed up for 10 years. Now I'm better, more responsible. I did learn one thing. The pain and loss never goes away. It just changes. And sometimes it feels like it hurts more now. And it makes me mad. The 3 of you will always hold a special place in my heart. I'm just sorry that you had such little time here. Sorry.
Dearest Evelyn, I'd give anything to have you shell just one more pecan from the Anzermas woods. All my love, your cousin Ed. What would I say to Eddie Lynn if I had just one more thought to pass on to him before to die? How do you say to someone to let them know that you love them and you wish they hadn't had to go through that? All I could think of was our childhood together, some of the memories we shared, and the best of all was sitting at Eddie Lynn on Grandma's porch, eating the pecans out of her pecan tree. They were good. Oh, they were good. I never questioned authority or thought very much about the outside world until John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And that got me started thinking that not everything was really right with the world. And then in 1966, I went to work in the Marine base. And I started seeing all these young boys coming in for recruit training. And the platoons kept getting larger, and the trainings kept getting shorter. And then they would send them off. And then we'd go home, and over supper, we'd be listening to Uncle Walter, and we'd hear about the body count. And then when he came in, he was so excited about the food in the mess. He kept raving about the food in the mess hall. He was so full of life and hope and ready to take on the world. All these young boys, young American boys, we kept shipping them off, and they'd get killed and not come back. My life wasn't any better because Eddie Lynn and all his peers died. The world wasn't any safer. My world wasn't any safer. And the generals and leaders, we kept protesting and questioning them, and they kept putting their foot down and getting more stubborn. And then I started thinking, oh my God, I have a 4-year-old kid. Is he gonna have to go over there and fight too? Eddie Lynn was only 19 when he joined the Marines instead of going to college. So his life was not particularly eventful, but he meant a lot to a lot of people. And when he died, it was as though the war came home to us. It It was as though something grabbed us by the shoulders and said, "Wake up, you fools! This young man was one of thousands. They all had fathers. They all had mothers. This was everybody's son."
This wedding ring belongs to a young Viet Cong fighter. He was killed by a Marine unit in the Phu Loc province of South Vietnam in 1968. I wish I knew more about this young man. I have carried this ring with me for 18 years, and it's time for me to lay it down. This young man is no longer my enemy.
I went to Vietnam to heal, and I came back silently wounded. I went to Vietnam to heal, and I'm still awakened from the nightmares of those we couldn't say. I went to Vietnam to heal, and I came back to grieve for those we sent hold mindless, blindless, and paralyzed. I went to Vietnam to heal, and I discovered I am not God. For those of you whose names are on this wall, I'm so sorry I couldn't be God. If I were a God, if there were a God, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have a wall, but I am not God. And so I keep on going, taking care of the wounded when I hear a chopper washing your blood from my hands, hearing your screams in my sleep, scrubbing the smell of your dead bodies from my clothes, feeling your pain that never eases, for a war that never just ends.
Dear John, I remember great foreigners, our time together, our time for love and sharing. Never, in even my wildest dream, did I think that we'd be stationed so close together. Those 9 months, time of joy and sorrow, will stay in my heart forever. Only now, after 17 years, am I really able to accept the fact that you are no longer here? You always be in my heart. A part of me. Whenever. Going out too? I had the nightmares. The nightmares. We're living the terrible nights of the death. How I held you in my arms. And your blood slipping through my shirts. Be peaceful. Knowing that you died violently. I too. I'm at peace. Knowing at last I can say goodbye.
When I was 5 years old, we walked to school together. Donnie would drag his foot through the snow and make a path so I could walk in. When I was 7 years old, he used to get mad at me for teasing him so much. I remember this one time, we were on the corner, and Donnie was hitting me, and this man drives by, and he starts yelling, "Hey, stop hitting that little girl." And I say, "Oh, shut up, mister. He's my brother. He can hit me if he wants to." When I was 10, Mama and her boyfriend, they would argue all the time. I would get scared and start to cry. Donnie would push my head up against his chest and tell me not to worry. Everything would be all right. When I was 14, he taught me how to walk like a man. I mean, just in case I had to walk home alone at night. When I was 15, he quit school. When I was 17, that's when Donnie joined the Army. When I was 19, Donnie came home on leave. He told me he was going to Vietnam. I started to cry. So he pushed his head against my head and said he was just kidding. Just kidding. When I was 21, Donnie came home. And Tony, my husband, he couldn't even stop the car all the way, for I was out and running. I was so happy. But Donnie was different. He stayed in his room all the time. Mama would call crying. Donnie wouldn't say nothing to her at all. Donnie has skin cancer removed from his shoulder. I'm 25. Don met a girl, Anne. I think he really likes her. She's really good for him. I'm 26. Don and Anne are married. He's gonna be a father. I'm 29. Don and Anne are having a hard time. But their child, Leslie Ann, he sees her and loves her so much. I'm 32. Don and Ann are divorced. But he sees Leslie almost every day. I'm 35. I can't stand this. Tony, come home. Donnie just called. Doctors say he has cancer in his jaw. He goes to radiation before the surgery. Doctors removed most of his teeth. You can see the tumor now. Radiation is working. He can't eat. There's no saliva. His mouth is on fire. His beard will never grow back. He's so thin. Don adds his name to the case against Agent Orange. It's October. Don has surgery today. Doctors are removing about 1.5 inches of jaw bone. That's not a lot, is it? 1.5 inches? We can measure together. That's about 1 inch. That's about 1/2. I put it on my chin and push it out. God, why would you let this happen to him? Don's home and doing fine. It's gonna take a long time to heal, but he's strong. He's in good shape. He's going back to work. The company that Don works for is going out of business. We tell Don to file for disability. His disability is denied. He's been looking for a job for 2 years. I'm mad. I phoned the Vietnam Veterans Organization to see what I could do to help my brother. You know what they tell me? They tell me it's hopeless. Hopeless. Only one veteran tells me not to give up. Keep going, he says, not just for your brother, but for all of us. Over half my brother's face is missing. And it wasn't shot off. The chemicals our government gave our men to use caused some kind of soft skin cancer. He was wounded, but not by the enemy. Now, I know my brother isn't the only veteran that's in trouble. But he's the only one that's my brother. Isn't anyone gonna do anything about all these men? Have we all just forgot? Do we think they'll all just go away?
At the very least, my brother and the others like him deserve their self respect, a decent job, and a place to live after this nightmare of the war. You know, I can't even tell Donnie about this letter. Because what if that veteran is right? What if no one cares? Sincerely, Donnie's little sister,
Missy.
I arrived in Vietnam and took a plane to An Khê, about 200 clicks north of Saigon. We had a week of jungle training, and after the jungle training, we reported to our company, Company E 4503, 173rd Airborne. Most of the men were out in the mountains and jungles. They told us to grab a cot for the night. Tomorrow you'd be assigned to your platoon, and they'd scatter us everywhere. It was so strange. There was nobody there to tell you anything. So we threw our gear on a cot and we set out to find something we could do for the night. And there was a beer tent out back, and they showed movies. How lucky was I? So, sat on the ground. And when the movie started, the sniper started to fire into the movie area. Shot 2 men. Oh. One killed on the spot. Second, wounded in his head. And the girl kept sniping until a gunship came in and it blew a mountain away. About an hour later, the movie came back on. The sniper came out again and started shooting again. The movie was canceled. So we went back to our cots, and I don't think anybody slept. We just... all night I just lay there thinking I'm never gonna see home. I'll never survive. And in the distance you can hear guns firing and guns firing in return. Nothing was like Vietnam. Then and now.
Da 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 da. Man, boy, 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 man, hump real fast. Enjoy each breath might be the last. Poor man, danger spot. Crazy when it's peaceful, dead when it's not. Boy, man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man. High lying nightmare town. Enemies in there won't make a sound. Heinlein, lair of hate. The foe's fortified, he lays in wait. Boy, man, boy, man, boy, man. Boy, man, boy, man, boy, man. Gabriel, Gabriel, blow, man, blow. Boy, man's a coming, let him know. Gabriel, Gabriel, on pleasant way, let him know what stands in his way. Mayday, mayday, a natural desire. He dies for cover, blows open fire. Mayday, mayday, devil's invitation. Portman escapes for preparation. Boy band, boy band, boy band, boy band, boy band, boy band. Boy band, boy band, boy band, boy band, boy band, boy band.
I didn't feel like I belonged. People that didn't go, ones that went and burned the flags and protested in Washington, they hated me. Because I went and fought. I was a man without friends. Nobody to help me, no one to listen, no one to tell. Fear drove me inside myself. Now, 12 years later, I'm in the same situation today. Except for my wife, a couple of friends, and some Vietnam vets. At least I have someone to talk to. Maybe, just maybe I can come home. I've been a POW in my own mind for 12 damn years. Flashbacks every goddamn day. Sometimes a few in one day. Yippee! A few days after I got home, my family threw me a homecoming party. Family and friends. Now, I remember it was rainy. We all sat together under the carpet. Pitter patter, it don't matter. Rain always does something to my head. I could even smell Vietnam, even though I was home a few days already. People packed together under the carpet, close to each other. Gives you that feeling of Vietnam. It's a close-knit feeling. No one wanted to hear about Vietnam. My mother watched it on TV every night because my older brother Jim's in Vietnam in the Marine Corps. 2 years on the DM goddamn Z. But my mother had enough of the war. We all had enough of the war. But for me, the war's not over yet. When will it be over? When will it be over? When can I turn that goddamn light out at the end of the tunnel?
He was the only young man from our town to die in the Vietnam War.
He wasn't exactly the best boy this town produced. More like a hoodlum at times, you know.
But at least he didn't shirk his duty and run off to Canada like some of the others.
As a result, he made the ultimate sacrifice.
Now, he may not have cared about his little hometown, but in his way, he kept it safe.
There is no monument to record his sacrifice in town, nor is his name read on Memorial Day.
Some of us think of him once in a while, though.
Whenever I'm home from my own duty with the Army, I visit his gravesite. From all of us. Thank you.
I haven't ever felt so close to you before. I never got a chance to know you, but I love you very much. There isn't a day go by Mum doesn't think of you too. You're gone from us now. We'll all be together again one day. You will never be forgotten. I am very proud to be your son, and I hope to be as good as a man as you were when I grew up. I love you, Dad, and I'll be back to see you if it's the last thing I ever do. Your son, Caroline.
Pineville, North Carolina, November the 3rd, 1986. Dear Lieutenant, it's autumn now and glorious colors decorate the Piedmont of South Carolina. Should be North Carolina if I remember rightly. I hope that wherever you are it's even more glorious and colorful. No way I can know, Lieutenant. Where do warriors go? Especially cherub warriors like we were. I suppose many people think warriors naturally go to hell. Or is that just generals? It's been a hell of a long time, Lieutenant. 18 years. I tried to contact your folks once, but I failed miserably. Not that I know what to say particularly. I mean, I can only imagine their pain. I'm a writer now, yes. Along with being an insurance man, a father, and several other things some less than friendly people call me. Hell, I'm 38 years old. That was half my life ago. No, Lieutenant, the only thing I seen about you since 1968 is your name on that Killed in Action list, 101st yearbook, and your name on that big black stone in Washington. That's it, ma'am. You know, Lieutenant, when I returned from Hawaii R&R in July 1968, and I came busting into the XO tenant Sally, carrying a couple of bottles of rum you had paid for, never in my life have I faced such trauma as when Dan Brantel told me you got thrown away. It freaked me bad, Lieutenant, real bad. You remember when I almost drowned back in January 1968? How about Ted? All that night humping up near Highland. And of course, March the 16th and all those dead monks. Hell, I vividly recall eating dinner with you in that blown-out pagoda. Just a couple of minutes before I got wounded on June 10th, 1968. face today, Mayor. Guess I better sign off, Lieutenant. If I go on too much, some people might get the idea that my brain damage is even worse than it really is. Hell, you and I, we went through too much, Lieutenant.
You are man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man. Victory, victory, boy, man, perform. 5 foes were captured, he's informed. Victory, victory, if you got it way. Boy, man, since things say tempted day. Boy, bad, go it insane. Don't see the glory to feel the pain. Poor man, what can he do? Drink lots of whiskey, smoke lots of brew. Man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man. Man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man, boy, man. It was a few days after Easter when we moved from King Lawn to Ballside. We got on choppers again, and a long ride. The choppers landed at the new home of the 173rd Airborne, LZ North English. We were to sweep from the village of Tum Quang, which was about 2 or 3 miles Highway 1, pushing all the Viet Cong or the North Vietnamese to the other half of our unit, waiting in ambush. The first 20 men moved out of the village into the main town. The blood and the earth turned upside down. Blood and skin were flying through the air. Pieces of flesh and blood were hitting me in the face. Hot blood, I could feel it burning my face. Men were laying all over the place, crying and dead. Sergeant Cook, Jong Goria, killed on the spot. 16 others were either dead or in pieces. When the choppers left, there were only 6 men that would stay with us until morning when the choppers would come back for us. Me and my forward observer were calling in illumination rounds to light up the area until we could get out, which wasn't until daylight. All night, I thought about putting my friends in body bags. Picking up pieces of their body. That night went on forever. I've never been the same since. The smell of that night never left me. The sight never left either.
You see, his life is stricken away, and all he wants is his mother, his father, and his family to be there. And you are the only person that's gone. And you're just watching him, watching his life presumably. There is nothing more intimate than sharing someone's diet with them. And when he's a 19-year-old kid, and you give the chance to share his last words with you, there is nothing more intimate than sex. There is nothing more intimate than burying a child. And when you experience stuff like that,
He can never be an ordinary person again.
You're their nurse, their doctor. You're their parents, their girlfriend, and their wife. You're everything that they had. So whatever it takes, that's what you give. That's what you're there for. Everything humanly possible that could have been done for each and every one of them was done. And not one of them died alone. And every one of them will be missed. Hello, Davy. I'm Dusty, your night nurse. And I will stay with you. I'll check your vitals every 15 minutes. I'll document inevitability. I'll hang more blood and give you something for the payer. And I will stay with you. And I'll touch your face. Yes, I'll write your mother. I'll write your mother and tell her you were great. I'll write your mother and tell her how much you love her. I'll write your Molly and tell her to give your ratty kid sister a big huggy kid. What I won't tell her is that you were wasted. But I will stay with you. And I'll hold your hand. I will stay with you. And watch your life slip through my fingers into my soul. I will stay with you until you stay with me. Until you stay with me. Until you.
David, stay with me.
Good night, David. I'll be the last person that you see. The last person that you touch. The last person who loved you. Goodbye, Dick. But David, can you tell me who was gonna get me something for my pain? For my pain. For my pain. Oh.
Dear Roger, though many years have gone by and you moved to another home, every day I miss you and long to see your young face. You will always be tucked away in a special corner of my heart. There's not one day I don't think of you and why you had to die. But I know you're in a safe space way beyond the sky. Your dad has just gone. Things are not the same. But I tried to carry on just the same. You are a special boy to me. And you will always be locked in my heart and my memories. The years have come and gone, and I miss you more as time goes on. All my love.
To Kenneth Grant Stoker and Ronald Edward Stoker. In a land you didn't know, the language you didn't understand, over causes you didn't understand, against an enemy that you rarely ever saw, you died for us. Leaving behind friends that you loved, and a land that you cherished, and a government that wanted to forget you, and the people who wouldn't let it forget. You lived for us, forevermore, in our hearts. Peter Stoker, London, England.
November 1986. It was 21 years ago. July 1965. A gentle and caring 26-year-old pilot left for Southeast Asia. 19 and a half years later, a handful of bones, identified as his only mortal remains, came back home to me. Through the son he never met, born 6 months after his death. His characteristics, his artistic talent, and his compassion for others live on. His memories will always be with me. I share with those of you who come to this hallowed wall of names, remembering, seeking comfort and solace for the loss and pain that we all have suffered as a result of the Vietnam War. Know that you are not alone. There are those who remember and who care. And they pray for you and your loved ones. And for those whose names are forever etched on this starkly beautiful memorial. The ground and the pathways at this memorial are deep watered by the tears of thousands and thousands who remember and who care. Touch their names and release the pain so long held. God bless you, those who served in the wars. Love and peace. Dana Schwan, Tampa, Florida.
This marks the second year I've come to the wall. I've seen the names of those I know, and yes, I've cried. My problem is, I don't know the names of those that tried to help and who died in my arms. In my sleep, I hear their cries, and I see their faces. As a young kid, I grew up around the lakes of Indiana, and I lived for nothing more than to swim and to boat or to hang around the cool shoreline of the lake. But then, in Vietnam at age 20, they put me in charge of a riverboat. And now back home, every time I step on a boat, all I see is red blood running on the decks and dripping into the water. I try to take my sons out fishing, but we never stay long. And the fish don't seem to bite like they do for other fathers. My sons are too young to understand that their father doesn't like the reflection he sees in the water. And for these reasons, I'd like to say, I'm sorry. To all you mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and wives and lovers of this man, I'm sorry. I could do no more. And I can count the numbers, 113 missions to be exact. My boat was always first. I made sure of that. I wish I knew your names so I could touch them in the black marble, but I don't. And I'm sorry. So sorry. Attached to this letter are my service medals. I don't need them to show I was there. I have your faces to remind me every night in my sleep. I'll return now to my safe place. Rest well, my brothers. May the wind be to your back, the sun in your face. And when we meet again, just tell me one thing. Tell me your name. With love, your brother.
Holden was from Jacksonville, amigos he and I. He me cash to buy some booze, wave to me goodbye. I went to Hawaii to spend my R&R. Rest up from the fighting, heal my body scars. I stew on beaches in paradise, civilization I would have. Holden hum the booties, trip a booby trap. Back in my bottle, holding Holden's rum. I cried when I discovered he was home on the kingdom come. Side inside the hunger, stared into the dark. Saw John Holden's image, a friend as naked small. Holden was from Jacksonville, amigos he and I. Give me cash to buy some booze, where to me. Goodbye.
Dear David, just thought I'd write. When I wrote this letter, I'd never seen a clearer night. Breeze was blowing gently, just like the ones you always enjoy. And the crickets, they can still sing me off to sleep. Well, Mom has been meaning to come to see you, but the work is just never done. And Dad just seems to sit around and stare. Well, I know they are real proud of you. You served your country like you had to. And they'll be here. It can take a little while, but they'll be here. I guess I miss you most of all. You were more than a brother to me. You were my friend. I thought we'd always be together. Just so suddenly it ended. I never thought I'd never see you again. I never thought I'd see your name on this wall.
June 86. To the sporting crew. Well, it's been a long time since we talked. I haven't seen you guys for a long time. Yet, it feels like we're still together. There's a lot of stuff I want to tell you guys. What happened? Well, I still got both legs and can walk. Not real fast, but what the hell? Many a times I thought about you guys. It's hard to teach someone what it was going to be like to take an infantry unit into combat. I got out in July 73. No shit, you guys were freaked. The lifer just packed it in and left. You guys are on a wall in DC now. It's an okay thing. Somehow, it seems like you guys are there. I've seen a couple of guys since. Not many. Gary stayed for a few days last summer. I think we'd still be close if... I saw Kim before they shipped us to Japan. She said you guys were number one. Not sure what happened to her. Guess she'd be about 30 by now. Saw Colonel Green at Benning about a year later. He said, "Nope, I was in France, Germany, Korea, did 3 trips to Nam. Never have I seen a finer outfit than your foot cavalry." Spoiled. Was in an airport about a year ago. This guy's staring at me. He says, "Chicken Man 34. I say, "Roger that, Brass Balls 7. Brass Balls was clearly the best fucking medevac pilot in the world. Drank, talked. In the end, we just cried. They make dumb movies about the war. One guy wrote a book about the 13th Valley, Texas Star. He didn't say, but I think he was a 3506 when they came up with us. That's just sort of odd. At first, it was like some bum trip that never even happened. Now they have parades and shit. I guess time does that. Anyways, life goes on. Mostly good. Sometimes bad. And there seems to be a hole where part of my art used to be.
Hi, lover. It's October 1985. It's been 17 years. You're still 21, forever young, but gone. Murdered. Yes, murdered. The first grey hairs sneak onto my head as I touch 37. And sometimes when I look at my youngest, I wonder if we have done enough to change this world. Have we done enough? Have we? You remember I used to bring you flowers. I always brought you flowers. That's how we fell in love. I used to pick them up from the neighbors' yards on the way to the school bus. And then I gave you daisies in the midst of all those white slabs of death. Your slab said they gave you a purple heart for dying. But this year is a purple heart for living. I thought this might mean a little bit more to you. This paper is a gift from my daughter. Purple is her favorite color. She's 10 and a half, beautiful. And one day, she will have her first love. I just hope he has your kindness and humor. And when she is turning 30, I wish they can sit together, hold each other, look into each other's eyes, and say thank you. Thank you for being there through everything. I have to come here today. Touching your name makes all of this so real. I know I was never good at saying goodbyes, especially when it came to you. But you always made it. You always made it work. You made it okay. You gave me so much of love and kindness. And the only way that I can think of repaying you is by sharing that love and doing the right as much as I can. The love that I share with my husband and our precious children is a part of you that will continue to be a part of me forever. I'll always bring you flowers. You gave me love. Caroline.
You saw it in the news, but you didn't really think that much about it because it was so far away. I never imagined for one moment that my own brother would die over there. That only happened to other people. It wasn't until we received the impossible, unbearable news of his death that I'd realized it can happen to anyone. One night, about 1.5 years later, I had an experience. Not a dream exactly, more like a vision. I was woken up by a beautiful, bright white light beaming into the bedroom, and I swear I saw Alan. I clearly saw his face, and he spoke to me, clear as day. I know what I saw. I had a wonderful brother, and I had such happy memories of him. I loved him dearly, and he loved me, and nobody can take that away. I know Alan wouldn't have wanted me to dwell on his death, but sometimes I feel like a piece of shrapnel that killed him entered my heart and will stay there forever.
I did come home. I came home in the hearts and minds of the living. Every man and every woman that came back brought a part of me. I've talked to you with their voices, and I've loved you with their hearts. Don't be scared, for I will always be with you. I'll always be there in the still of the night. So be still and listen. You'll hear my voice. Over the planet snow, that's to a glowly shot. Flex the brain up a shattered bone. That shrapnel is middle. Brother small, obviously. Even Josh, look on. Sided so, would angel escape inside great black stone.
America sees no shining perfect star.
You got the employees, it's a big star.
America sees no shining perfect star. You are the cold of every breeze, reveals a lovely scar.
Peace comes now upon more. Mental memories stop. Boom goes, stare they spy the wall. It's shrapnel in the heart. Shrapnel in the heart.